Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Perspective Matters podcast. I'm your host, Shakira Moore. So, for this episode, I want to share with you some resources that I hope you will find to be helpful as you continue to navigate life in quarantine. So, last week, most countries would have celebrated Mental Health Week, and most countries will also be celebrating May as Child's Month. So I'll be sharing a series of resources that you can use as you navigate this quarantine and as you continue to take care of your mental health. The last 8 weeks have been different. We have never gone through anything like this before, and for some of us it has been a challenge to cope. It has been a struggle to come to terms with what we're now labeling as the new normal. And as we navigate this time, it's not surprising if certain feelings of anxiety, stress, worry surface more often than usual. So for this episode, I want to leave some encouraging words with you, share the resources, spread some love and some peace, because that is what we need during this time. We all cope differently. We all experience things differently. And it is my hope that as you continue to navigate this quarantine experience, that you show yourself some grace, that you are being a little bit more compassionate towards yourself first and to others. I know the messaging this time is one that is rife with, oh, this is a great opportunity, capitalize on it, build your business, build your brand, build your network. And while taking advantage of the opportunities as they're presented to you is fine, be mindful of the fact that your path is your own. Your journey is not meant to look and feel like everyone else's. So if you don't have 10 business ideas, and if you don't know where to start, that you don't go beating on yourself because you are not moving as quickly as the rest of the world, you are not capitalizing on the opportunities as they are presented to you, so you are wasting your time. I'd like to encourage you and tell you the opposite, that you aren't wasting your time, and in fact just making it through the day is worthy of celebration, because if you pay attention to the news, which I don't suggest you do, at least don't binge on the news, but if you're paying attention, people are still dying. We're still losing family members, we're still losing friends. So any day that you make it to the end is worthy of being celebrated. You ought to feel grateful that you've made it through this day, especially if you still have your mental health intact, especially if you still have a support system that you can lean on, especially if you are able to provide support for your friends and your family. So bear that in mind as you continue to navigate the space. Your race is your own. No one but you should be your own competition. Strive to be better today than you were yesterday, and exercise grace and compassion. So the resources I'm going to share are Canadian, American, and Caribbean. So I'm going to link all these different URLs in the show notes. So whichever ones resonate with you, then you are welcome to click on them and see how best you can take advantage of the resources. So during this time, we can find ourselves only reflecting on the mental health needs of adults because of our frontline workers or essential workers, the people within our network. But we must also remember that there's an important group of people, of persons, of humans that are also having to navigate this new normal and are also experiencing life during quarantine, and those unique persons are our children. So one resource I'm going to link in the show notes, particularly for those of us who are living in Canada, is Children's Mental Health Ontario. And of course, if you're living in other provinces, then there would be mental health resources for your province as well. But because I'm in Ontario, those are the resources I'm going to share. So Children's Mental Health Ontario has over 100 member organizations that operate within the province, and they provide support via the phone as well as virtually. There are resources for the family, and there are also resources for your children. There are interactive self-assessment tools that you can use. There are articles that will highlight ways you can help your child cope. There are other resources and tools that you can use to provide support for your child or children as they continue to navigate this time. So if you notice that your child or children are behaving differently, they are withdrawn, they are not as active as before, then you may want to visit this website, take a look at the resources that are available, and speak to someone. Again, they offer services via the phone as well as virtually, and get the help that your children need. So just to offer a little more guidance, once you click on the link that takes you to the website, there are a series of buttons at the top of the page that will take you to other pages. So click on resources, and you'll see the drop-down menu that has Family Care Center, Youth Resources, Teacher Resources, Professional Resources. So if you're looking for information to provide support for the entire family as you help rally around your child or children, or you're looking for specific resources for your young ones, then click on the link that you think is most applicable to you. The Family Care Center on the Children's Mental Health Ontario site has resources for parents, resources for children. There is also a map that will link you to a center within your community. So if you're looking for resources for yourself and ways for your child to cope, then I recommend you click on that tab. Now, if you click on the Youth Resources tab, there is a Kids Help Phone, and this Kids Help Phone offers live chats that connects you one-on-one with a Kid Help Phone counselor, and you can use this resource. It's available 24 hours of the day, and of course the support is confidential, and there are a wide variety of topics that your child can get help from this resource. So for those of you who happen to live in Ontario, these are two good resources that you can use for your children and for yourself as you provide the familial support for them. So to you, my listeners, if you find that you are struggling during the day, if you find that you are feeling more anxious than normal, if you're having trouble sleeping, if it truly is difficult for you to cope and you happen to reside in Ontario as well, there is also the Center for Addiction and Mental Health, and this is also another resource that you can tap into. So again, when you go onto this website, there are a series of pages that you can click with different information to help you. So the page or the tab I find most useful is the health info, so it lists mental health 101. So if you want to learn more about mental health and resources available for you to take care of your mental health, then that tab is available. There are also crisis resources, so if you need someone to talk to urgently, then you can click on that tab as well. And I share this information because while we emphasize reaching out to your network and while we emphasize reaching out for support, it will not be easy for all of us, especially to reach out to our network, because we are aware that they too are also going through this experience, and you may not wants to burden them, or you may feel as if asking for help will put you in a position to be a burden to your friends and your family and your loved ones. So if you feel more comfortable talking to a total stranger, someone who is trained to handle your situation, then this is the reason I'm linking all these resources, and this is the reason I want to share all these resources with you, because I don't want you to suffer alone, and I want you to get the help that you need. So if you find it difficult to really express how you feel and what you're going through to your friends, to your family, to your network, then please take advantage of these resources that I'm going to share with you in this episode. And again, I will link all these resources in my show notes. Now, if you happen to reside in the United States of America, there is the Mental Health America website that you can visit, and there are tons of resources available to you. So as you get on the homepage of this website, at the top you'll see different buttons for you to click, and the third button, Find Help, is where I will direct you to find help, whether for yourself or for someone else. Now, if you're looking for help for yourself, that will be the second item or the second option in the drop-down menu. Now, if you need urgent help, and I'm going to share this number for anyone, it's a 1-800 number, so I think wherever you are in the world, you should be able to dial this number and get help. So this is 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-TALK, and that's 8255. So 1-800-273-8255. This is a 24-hour crisis center, so if you urgently need someone to talk to, then please use that number. I tested it, so I know it works, because these websites may not necessarily update their information, but the number works. Especially during this time, it's important that we share accurate information. So again, if you need help for yourself or for someone and the assistance is urgent, then please call 1-800-273-8255. And if you reside in the Caribbean, there is a resource that I'm going to share with you, of course, and that is Dr. Olivia Rose. Now, she is a psychologist, and she's offering a course with different topics weekly that will help you to cope during this time. Now, this is a paid service, and it's open to individuals and group sessions. So if you want to get tools that you can use to cope during this time and beyond, then again, I will link her information in the show notes. So each week the topic is different. So she will cover self-awareness, managing how you respond to anxiety, understanding and managing effects of isolation, coping with loss, and adapting. So if you feel that you want more than just someone to talk to, you want tools to carry in your toolbox that will help you beyond just this experience, and you also want to be able to help others around you, then I would suggest you reach out to Dr. Rose and see how best this resource can help you. Now, I can't possibly list every country here. I'm going to share 2 Instagram resources that I rely on as well for support, and these 2 pages are the holistic psychologist, Dr. Nicole LaPera. So her page covers a wide range of topics, and she looks at mental health through different lenses. So if you need a post that is going to encourage you in the moment, that is going to give you a different perspective, that is going to get you to think and to feel and to start to pay attention to what you're going through and to focus on the internal, then this is absolutely the page for you. I find her posts to be relevant. I can relate to them. They resonate with me. So that's a resource I would encourage you to also tap into. The other Instagram page that I follow is Dr. Judith Joseph. Now, she is a psychiatrist based out of New York. Her page is different in that she posts more videos than static posts. So there are videos that talk about anger and it being okay to be angry, because there is that other side to the experience as well. So it's not just the anxiety, it's not just the depression, it's not just the low mood, it's also the anger, it's also the frustration. So if you do feel that you are on that side of the spectrum, then she's a resource that I would encourage you to tap into as well, because it is okay to be angry. It is okay to be frustrated. It is okay to feel worried, to feel and be anxious, because this is an extraordinary experience that we're going through, and that is your body's way of responding. So it's okay to feel these things. You need to acknowledge them, and if you feel as if you need help, then get the help. So these are two pages I encourage you to take a look at, and if the content they have resonates with you, then by all means follow and start to dig into the information that they share. And if you have suggestions for other pages that you found helpful during this time, then please share them with me and I can update the show notes. I also want to share with you another resource I found while I was doing my research, and this is a 2020 well-being calendar. Now, this is not the typical 30-day, 12-month calendar, but what it is a calendar that calls out specific days that address different topics related to well-being. So for the month of May, it would have highlighted Mental Health Week and Child and Youth Mental Health Day, and it speaks about resources that are available to you and the importance of paying attention and being mindful as it relates to your mental health. So I will also link this calendar in the show notes, so if you're interested, please download a copy for yourself. My beautiful souls, it was my intention to keep this week's episode short and sweet, and while I wanted to share with you resources that you can tap into to help you cope, survive, and dare I say thrive during this extraordinary experience that we're all living through, I also wanted to leave with you some words of hope, because hope is what will keep us going. And during this time, we can't get enough of, we can't be tired of hearing words of hope and encouragement. So I'm going to read 3 poems for you from the Silver Book of Hope. So the first one reads, offering hope to others through a loving word, a thoughtful act, or a simple smile is the surest way to lift your own spirit. Hope opens our hearts and lessens our woes. It fights against strife and vanquishes foes. It can be as small as a smile or as long as the day. It's a gift that grows larger when you give it away. Hope says, no matter how many times I fall, I will stand and start again. For a person of hope is not one who never falls, but one who picks herself up one more time than she falls. My beautiful, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you who takes the time to sit and listen to the episodes. I know there are a million things that are fighting to get your attention. So by listening to this episode, I know you are intentional in your choice to do so. So I thank you so much for listening. I hope that as you continue to navigate this experience, that this episode will renew you with that sense and that feeling of hope and encouragement and peace. I'm sending each and every one of you love and light and positive vibes as you go throughout the days and the weeks, and as you hear the sound of my voice, that a sense of calm and peace and a knowing that everything will be okay. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, remember, there are two sides to every coin. Just flip it to get the full view. Catch you next week. Bye.